Everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Sam Dever podcast. I am your host, Sam Dever. In this episode, I talk to my great friend, going back many years ago to the Las Vegas days, Shane Allen of Carmello Vision. Shane is a brilliant graphic designer, an artist, and just overall amazing human being. He lives in Tokyo, so it's been really cool to communicate with him over the years on what it's like over there and him giving me some worldly insights to a part of the world that I've never been. And we just always have a great conversation. And Shane's one of those people where we may not talk to each other for a while, but whenever we do or whenever we shoot a message to each other, it's like we never left. I just have a really strong soul and creative connection to him. I've worked with him on several creative projects, and he's just an amazing human being, an artist, and I'm grateful to know him. And I really look forward to you listening to this conversation. The book of the episode, we're going to go with Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. The light's kind of bright. But what I love about this book is it's one of those books where you can read not even a page a day. It's broken up in little paragraphs. You can read one paragraph or sentence and have something to think about for the rest of the day. This was Marcus Aurelius's work that he never really intended to publish. It was just his personal diary, and you really see why he was the leader he was, or the mind he had. It's a lot of truth in this book on how to live your life and how, we don't have a lot of time here, so make the best of it. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and check out my conversation with Shane. All right. I assume that means we're going. So Shane Allen, Mr. Shane Allen, also known as Carmelo Vision, welcome to the Sam Dever podcast.
Oh, great to be here, man. It's been a minute since we've last talked.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Digitally.
And like the whole beard experience is just like a whole new, adventure right now.
You're my inspiration, or you're at least one of them. Because your beard game, how long ago, how many years has it been now that you've really focused in on the beard game like you have?
It's been about 2 years. I mean, even like much before that too. Like I would explore for 2 weeks one day, and just like grow it out just to stubble and just like look in the mirror and be like, this ain't it, and just shave it. And then, came out in Japan, had a girlfriend who was just like, just, grow it out. And I was like, fine, fuck it. Let's just see what it looks like. And then, I fell in love.
The rest is history.
So, the rest is history. The rest is just growing,
But I'm sure several others fell in love, too.
I mean.
It's funny, too, with, like, beards. It's like you don't know what you're capable of until you actually give it a chance. And this has now been almost a couple years where I started to grow it out a little bit. I'm not on your level yet, but someone who had a very strong beard game saw what I was trying to do, and they're like, hey man, I see that you're pushing through the awkward stage of it. They're just like, keep going.
Right.
And I've heard something where when you do shave it down, it does come back thicker or fuller. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but he said you have to go through it. You have to go through the awkward, doesn't look too right stage. So even on my mustache, when I was trimming down the other day, and then the mustache, I'm like, well, wait a minute. We're just going to leave the mustache for now. We're just going to keep that thicker for the moment. And just kind of see, we're going to kind of see what just happens here.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's the beauty to that too. And obviously, 20 times, we're wearing the mask a lot more. So I had fucked my beard up one day, like growing it out. And then it's just like slowly coming back, and I'm looking in the mirror like, oh shit, this looks terrible. But mask. Problem solved. Here we go.
It has been it really has been kind of a unique opportunity for many of us to experiment with different grooming explorations that maybe we wouldn't have tried.
Right. I mean, because I think, we were both this kind of like clean cut, type person. I mean, I still like to keep the hair clean cut, but like the beard just to give us some extra depth.
I remember the first picture on Instagram. Because on your, which by the way, follow at Carmelo Vision. We'll get into your art and all that here in a little bit, but you don't post like every picture's you in it. You're posting your art, you're posting your different explorations of Tokyo and Japan and things.
Mm-hmm.
So when you post a picture of yourself, it's like, it doesn't happen every day. And I remember scrolling and then I think it was you like in a cardigan sweater, like with this group of people, just with this full, just insanely nice beard. I was just like, what? Wow, Carmello Vision just totally hit the next level and just didn't give anyone any warning. He just said, "Hey, I'm here."
just release the photo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and here we are. Yeah.
So how is Japan?
I mean, it's Japan. Yeah, no, it's been good, man. Like, I've been here for 3 years so far. Went to immigration last month to renew my visa, so we're gonna put some more years on it. But I mean, overall, of course, just like being at home, like more so like this past year or so, but just like taking side trips here and there, traveling to new places, going through the motions with my job, working, shit. And I just really trying to get back in interviews. So it's just like a whole mix of like things.
Yeah.
Creating more experiences.
And you haven't been, the last time you were in the States, was it when you were out here in LA? The last time I saw you? Was that the last time you were here?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it, man. I was like thinking, choosing between LA and Tokyo and, applying to different jobs over there and out here. And then, I landed in Tokyo. So, yeah, it's been 3 years, man.
But you had been to Tokyo several times before.
Yeah, I think this is my 5th time. Yeah. But I mean, I've been to Japan like probably 10 times, lived here twice, just back and forth. So, yeah.
Could you dive into
like a second home?
Your second home, yeah. You've been going there since you were young. Could you give us maybe the, or however long you want, the bullet point version of what led you to Japan? Like, how did this all unfold? Because it's obviously a very special place to you.
Right. Shit. Like, I guess where to start even with that. Like, yeah. So I was taking Japanese class in high school, and just bombing it. Just really, really terrible at Japanese. I mean, I don't know if I got much better, but yeah, I wasn't doing so good. And my teacher, his name was Mr. Fent, and basically he was just like, "Hey, I mean, do you really want to learn Japanese, or do you just want to leave this class?" Just like 2 options. And I mean, and again, Japanese was like the worst marks that I was getting out of any class. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna go all in. And so I went all in, studied my ass off, highest in my class. And then one day he just, well, before that too. So, I'm starting to feel this more motivation for Japan. And my uncle, he was actually covering a game out in Tokyo because he's a journalist for the NBA. So yeah, it was the LA Clippers versus Seattle Supersonics, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come out with me for a week to Tokyo?" And I'm 16 at the time, and I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And we fly out here together. He's covering the games. I'm 16. He's like, "Shane, you can just do whatever you want." Obviously, he reflects back on that right now, and he's just like, "I don't know if I should have gave you so much freedom, but." Yeah, me at 16, just exploring the city by myself, learning how to take the train and just kind of just saturating myself into the city. It was this whole new experience for me, kid from Milwaukee, just figuring it out. So yeah, I think that energy was just really the Kickstarter for wanting to come back, this whole new different place.
That's first of all, I never had heard that about your teacher, so this is new to me. Pretty much that teacher is kind of one of the main drivers. So that and your uncle were the drivers that, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, so even after that too, the next year, my teacher's looking at my progress, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm really proud of you. Do you really want to go to Japan? If you write an essay for this one company, you could teach English out there potentially, or you could write an essay for this one and do a study abroad program." And so then I filled out both applications for these different programs, and I got accepted to both. And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." So then I choose the study abroad one the first year, and then I choose the teaching one the second year. So yeah, right off the bat, like now I'm just like going back to Japan in the summertime, studying abroad and like working at English summer camp. So yeah, that's like how it just kind of all snowballed.
Wow. And then it was this is crazy, man. Now it's like how far back we go now. It's like, I mean, this had to have been
Yeah.
8 years ago at least. You went over there to teach outside of Tokyo. Wasn't it like in some smaller area of Japan, like countryside Japan? Didn't you do
Yeah, yeah. So I was like it's like just in the complete boonies, man. Like, you know, it was a year living in Vegas, just like this whole new experience and nightlife and 24/7 everything. And I mean, just anything on the fucking map. And then I applied to go to Japan, and you know, I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be Tokyo. It's gonna be like Osaka, which is like the second largest city.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're just gonna put you at the very, very, very bottom, like just the most remote place in Japan. And yeah, house right next to like this giant potato field, like old man like waking up every morning saying like good morning in like the slowest fucking dialect ever. Yeah, so yeah, I was like living there for 3 years, and yeah, I had a great time there too.
Wow.
So
We met
just all over the map.
Yeah, we met in Las Vegas, by the way, which we'll get to that. Because if we start talking about Vegas, then it's going to bring a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
So what is it about? I mean, I pretty much through you is what I've learned or what I see on the internet. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Tokyo's like gigantic, right? I mean, it's bigger than New York City, from my understanding. Is that accurate? In terms of
population? I believe so. Yeah, I forget the exact number, but yeah, I think it's a little bit bigger than New York.
So is it the energy of the city that really draws you and keeps you there, or what is it? I guess that, I mean, because you're still there now. What is it you like about Tokyo so much? You don't have to name everything, but just, you know, maybe some things.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, well, initially I was just kind of like this energy, like this, you know, kind of 24/7 city. I mean, even like living in Vegas still had like this kind of like, you know, same energy as well. But I'd say more so just the connections, like, you know, just the potential connections of people who I could meet. I mean, I always felt like living in a bigger city, you're able to just network and like, you know, get to meet like a lot more people. Tokyo's a little bit more international. So just even like the, you know, integrating with the international community. Yeah, just a variety of things really. And like, you know, just being the hub of Japan that has, you know, like this kind of movement with design and like just the way they do things. I thought it was kind of cool just to get integrated in.
And you are an artist of many sorts, designer.
Many sorts, man. Yeah.
What would I don't know. A creative genius, really.
Yeah.
Tokyo. I mean, that had to have had an influence on your art, I would think. Wouldn't it have?
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, the thing with Japan too is just like the attention to details. So, I mean, even just like getting involved with like a lot of the the projects at my web design job, basically, yeah, just, you know, checking out the very small details and just, you know, adjusting and just making like this whole thing unified, perfect. At first, you know, I was just kind of, it was just too much in the beginning because it was just like a lot of back and forth, you know, with maybe the client, for example, and we're just like making a modification here, a modification here, a modification here, like, you know, really, really Japanese compared to the States, I felt. But yeah, I mean, it helped me grow and just expand the way that I look at things and like the processes that I take. Oh, dog, by the way.
Is that your dog?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. You have a dog?
Got a dog, though, man. Yeah.
Dude, first you hit me with the beard, now you hit me with the dog, man. This is...
You just release it in stages, man.
Yeah. What else are you hiding?
Shit, man. Right.
Yeah. How long have you had the dog? Not to get us too far off track. I'm just.
So it's been about earlier this year. I think like since March. Yeah, like so yeah, living with my girlfriend now, and you know, she just really wanted to get a new dog, and yeah, we just got this puppy, which has been a journey in itself too. So
yeah, so the pandemic really has been good for grooming, exploration. People are having babies. and getting pets.
Having babies and getting pets. But I see you just check off the boxes for the grooming, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of
I
leads
mean,
me.
unless you're hiding something from me, I don't know, man.
Well, there may be a thing or two. No, not really. I mean, this is this is my book corner. This is my salt lamp.
Right.
Shout out to Tyler who gave this to me as a gift. I got a Jenga and a Scrabble board back here.
Right.
I haven't played either of them yet with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's in terms of how's the designing and stuff going? I mean, we haven't talked in so long. What's the creative? I guess what's the creative vibe for you right now? Are you designing a lot of your own stuff, or are you just focusing on client work, or is there any? Or just kind of exploring everything,
So I mean, I think I'm at this phase too where I've been like doing so much client work. I mean, even like so I work. I basically work like a 9 to 5, like a web design company at a web design company. And then like I also just do like, work here and there, just working for like personal clients. And yeah, I mean, I think in this past month just had like just an influx of work like from both on both sides somehow. Like, it seems like everything that I've been doing like before that up until that point, people were starting to look at it and just say, hey, let's give him more. So, which is great. So, but yeah, I've been just like stacking work, and then finally just kind of realizing like, oh man, this is a lot of, I got like a lot of like, just work for other people coming in, which is good. But then at the same time too, just like really just assessing like, okay, maybe I'm kind of like just not really like having time for my own personal work. So I guess like, how do I get back to that? Or like, how do I kind of find like that balance and, from my own personal style, my own personal like identity in my work, like that yearning for it, like, oh shit, I really need to get back into this and just study and do it. Like 1 minute stories, for example, like,
which is awesome.
So just jumping back into that and just, plotting stuff out, like just taking old clips of mine and just editing them and just kind of like playing around with them and adding new features to them and seeing what else I can do with that. So it's all boiling right now. It's like all just, kind of coming together, marinating. But yeah, just making moves.
The 1 minute stories, I always thought that was genius. What started you to do that? And what exactly, for people that don't know what it is, the name says a lot. I mean, it's really, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 1 minute story.
So it's a 1 minute story. Yeah. It was like me and three. So yeah, it was like me and 3 friends. And personally at that time too, I was like looking for work outside of Milwaukee. I was like living in Milwaukee at the time, and had my sights on just the advertising industry there. And then also just like, seeing other jobs, maybe like in LA, but yeah, just like getting a lot of no's, like when I was like sending my resumes out and reflecting with 2 other friends who were looking for like more creative work, kind of like with the agencies as well. And we're just like, man, like the fuck are the secrets? Like, what are they keeping away from us? Like, why can't we, like, what is it like, about, our work or whatever? And so we had all these questions in mind, as far as like creativity, as far as like, what more we could do, how we could bring value, stuff like that. And then it just kind of morphed into a video. So we just interviewed each other, and then, we just created videos for that and posted it on 1 minute stories. And then we're like, oh, okay, how about we just interview, because we're all Black creatives at the time. We're all Black creatives. So, and, growing up in Milwaukee, so it's just like, Milwaukee itself is kind of segregated. You have like, it's kind of segregated by race in a sense, although it's not. And then we're just like, what if there's just a way that we can like help other, Black creatives, like, coming up and like give them a place to network and just kind of come together. And we just went out into the community, interviewed business owners who had, started their business and just wanted to get an idea of like how they developed their story, just to give inspiration to those who are starting out for the first time. So it was really like, I'd say 1 minute story is just like, I guess like a vehicle I don't know, this kind of medium just to help other people realize their own potential, as cliche as that sounds, or just, realize all the skills that, they've developed, and give them a place to connect with other people who are like in the same industry along the lines of that.
Yeah, no, that's dope. And you guys have even interviewed outside of business owners, right? I mean, you've interviewed
right. Yeah, like, business owners, artists, photographers, shit. I mean, I even came to Japan, and I had a friend who was like a fashion designer, and she had this brand called Fukushima Knit, and just, doing that. But I mean, just even like over time, just like seeing like how people like, engage with it, and oh wow, this story changed me, or like, oh wow, I never knew that this was possible. Like just reading those comments just, inspired me just to do more and just like connect. Because I mean, I've always just been about connection, I would say, with everything I've done. Like, how do we connect people together and just like help them, create creatively.
Yeah. No, and now that you say that, I remember that. You did start that in Milwaukee, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really cool. And what I love about it as well, what's so great about it, I mean, it is what the name says. I mean, it's very, I know that sounds really simplistic to say like that, but that's huge for branding. It's like, you don't have to figure it out. It's like, it's a 1 minute story.
It's right there. It's a 1 minute story.
And with attention spans, especially now, being as short as they are, the fact that you can pack in some great information for someone in less than 60 seconds.
Right.
It's a valuable thing. It's like, it's a nice little 1 minute. That's all I need. Like, in between stuff or whatever, you get some quick inspiration real quick. It's just not 60 seconds of watching a cat jump off a roof onto some crazy funny internet.
Especially recently,
Yeah, especially today. Today, now I think now it's beyond wild, wild west status. I think the internet's just this.
It's really saturated.
It's crazy. we were getting like going in the good days. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Or go ahead.
Oh, what's that?
I said when we were really getting on.
Oh man, it's that audio.
You go ahead. You go first. I'm gonna sip my tea. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, I was just gonna say like, even at that time, I'd say like 2015, we have more of this like longer form content, and it's like slowly becoming, the window's becoming smaller because people are realizing attention. And I mean, I can't watch this one, but I mean, like this is like only 60 seconds, like it's much quicker. So yeah, I don't know, just like a bite of information.
I was having this, and you'd be someone that because I met you early on in the social media days. We met actually, shout out to Ross Martin, at the Social Media Film Festival in Las Vegas. And maybe this is going to go into our Vegas history a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, what would that have been? I think that was 2013, I want to say. And social media was around. And it was popular, but it was nothing compared to what it is now. And I've had this talk with a couple people. I feel like even though how easy social media is to use now and how convenient and all the cool, quote unquote, tricks you can do and technology we have with the phones, I felt like back then there was more of a purity to it back then. I don't know what I mean by that, but it was like, it really was this type of community. And, people like Ross Martin, yourself, shout out to Kalila. I met, Kalila was at the Social Media Film Festival, and that event alone led me to this whole other world of film and stuff, which has a whole other.
That's when you started the whole what is it? Your whole video thing.
I started doing film work for the Social Network show.
Right.
Because I had met them there, which led to the social media show. So
right.
It's I think shout out to Vegas Wayne. I was telling Vegas Wayne, who was one of the hosts of the social media show, I'm like, I kind of look back now, and I'm like, I almost feel like we were like peddling cigarettes to people, like, social media, man, social media is cool. Get on it. It's great. Like this, and this. And now we
really were. Especially living in Vegas. Yeah, I think I was even part of like the Mashable social media week or whatever, and
Yeah.
just kicking it with random people. I think Demont, I
Yeah.
forget the name of the group, or Finesse, yeah, and just creating these events just around social media and geotagging and introducing like
Exactly.
these new social media ideas. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we're just peddling cigarettes back then, man. Social media cigarettes. Yeah.
And one thing I will always be grateful for your and I's relationship, because you and I are like both freelancing at the time, you doing your thing, me doing mine, whether it's social, film, photography, whatever it was. I'll never forget. And you and I did this on more than one occasion. But one story in particular, I actually was leaving a social media summit conference. I believe it was at, what's it called? Bally's. I think it was Bally's.
All right.
The thing about Vegas too, man, like I've been in Bally's 1,000 times. Never knew they had this huge conference center up top on the top floor. And that's the beauty of Vegas. There's just always another hidden realm you never knew existed. Layers. In Vegas, Wayne was having his birthday party. It was called Hotel 32 at the Monte Carlo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you're like, hey, are you going? I'm like, are you going? And like, we both had our cameras. We ended up just shooting video, shooting shots. That was kind of like your and I's first collab, if I want to think correctly on that.
I think
And
that
we
would
ended
be
up
it,
making these videos of Vegas Wayne's birthday party. And like, but that's back when not everyone had good iPhones, and not everyone, you and I were bringing the DSLR cameras everywhere we went, making content.
Right.
Whereas now, I tell people, like, look, this is all you need. You don't need need that. But I guess that's maybe like talking it out with you. That's what I realized back then. There was like that purity of it was like, it really was an art. It wasn't just about the video. It was like this big social media, artistic, digital sphere that only a few of us wove in and out of. But now everyone's on. So it's like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it's just like, I felt like we had like hurdles to just jump. I mean, just even having that camera too. I mean, yeah, just like you said, just having this camera. Okay, I'm going to use this to take content, and then I'm going to upload it to my computer. I'm going to chop it up some sort of way, and then I'm going to send it to my phone, like through some like kind of SD card or something like that. Yeah. But just the whole process behind it, and like now it's just like, oh, 15 seconds. Right. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating looking back at that. Yeah, for real.
It's funny because in talking with you, I just realized that's what it was. It was kind of, I kind of took pride in it. Actually, it was like kind of this, hey, like I'm a content creator. Like this is what I do, and it takes a lot of work. It still takes work. Don't get me wrong. But it's now cranking out content is you can do it way scaled down. You don't have to have all this other stuff. It's pretty simple to some degree.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even for me too, it's just like I've moved to just even using my iPhone as like just the primary camera sometimes. I mean, just go in my bag real quick and get like some sort of tripod and then press play. I mean, press record, and then there we are.
Yeah, I always enjoy seeing your Instagram posts, just random Japan. Of course, it's always like some type of crazy design or something just really cool. Like, oh, that caught his eye. I'm like, that caught Carmello Vision's eye.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you took a break from social for a bit?
About 3 months recently. And I'm thinking about now I started the podcast back up. I'm like, dang it. Because I'm going to do a podcast. You got to promote it. But
how was that? Like, how was that experience? I mean, we're all talking about social, but like, how was just like that kind of shift from social just I don't know. Were you checking social media, or like were you just kind of like completely off of it?
I went 3 months completely, and I've done it before, but recently I did it recently, and it was profound this last time. And I think it's because I had been doing just the past year, recovering from an injury, just doing lots of reading, meditating, spiritual work, yada yada. I realized how much There's a few things. I realized how much of my senses I was not in tune with, because literally the more you get plugged into this thing in the social networking, the less it's a reality that's not reality. And I realized how much of my life I was living through this phone and living through taking in all this information from other people on this phone or my laptop or wherever. When you really get rid of it, there is that feeling of like, man, I'm not connected to people anymore.
Right.
You start to realize, and this is taking out the fact, yes, it has been a pandemic, and obviously tools like what we're using right now, Zoom, have been pivotal. But you really start to get in tune with life again, and you really start to really just feel your own thoughts and think your own things without getting bombarded with 10 million advertisements or what Johnny and Sue had for lunch today or what so-and-so thinks about this topic in the world. And it's like, I don't know if as humans we were meant to consume all that information at once. And you know, I mean, getting into life philosophy, one thing the injury taught me was not only is life short, but life is extremely fragile, and it can change at any given time. And social media, it's cool. It's a tool. I'm trying, and look, I've had days where I use it as a tool. I use it to post what I needed to, message whatever. But then there's days where I'm like, yeah, I spent about an hour extra than what I probably should have on that. So yeah, I guess for me, it does make you recognize when you get off of it, how you can live without it, no problem. And that, you know, it's like life is, I mean, shoot, we really, it's happened in our lifetime where we got to experience what life was like without it to a certain time. And then we witnessed the evolution of it. And now we're in full blown mode. Whereas kids today, they're born right into it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like a part of life.
So yeah, I don't know if that really answers anything, but it's just the more I'm on it too, it's like, it's just after a certain point, it just hits me, man. I'm like, this just isn't healthy. Like, it's just not healthy. Even when I say, because I said when I was going to get back on, I'm only going to get on the checking messages once a day and maybe doing a post here and there. But
which even though like the fact that just even say that to your, you know, people that you follow and shit too, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess for me too, it's just like, I have never like really completely cut it off yet, but I mean, of course, just realizing like those like things and like how it kind of just like potentially could dictate the way that I, you know, interact with it, like as far as photos or, you know, how many photos you put out or something like that. Yes, it's interesting. I mean, just like that kind of like deeper look at it.
Well, and it's a double-edged sword because, you know, for the content creator, it's inevitable. You have to be, I mean, where else are you going to,
right.
It's like, if you create content, that's why if I'm going to do a podcast, well, I'm not going to, it's not like I have a huge following of any kind. Now, when you get to a certain level of any kind of that magnitude, first of all, you have other people running it for you. Second of all, you can tell people, hey guys, I'm just going to put my podcast on the samdeverpodcast.com. Check there once a week and you'll see. Yeah, of course, if I could do it that way, I would. I read this really good book. Maybe I'll make this the book of the episode. It's called Don't Watch This by Michael Rosenblum. Don't watch this. Really, really good, especially for today's times. Like he worked in news and made millions in news, and he pretty much, or media, and he pretty much gives you the skinny, like how this is all manipulative and blah, blah, blah. But he did bring up the point at the end of the book. He talks about the importance of having your own space online, like, so your own website that you own. And we've known this for a while, but using the saying like, hey, have that website that you own, that you drive people toward, but you use things like Instagram, you use things like Facebook or Twitter to get people to go to your website. He goes, but don't invest all of your time and energy into a platform you do not own. And that really struck something with me. I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like, if you invest all your energy and content into Instagram, and then for whatever, especially nowadays, you get your account removed, or Instagram just goes away.
Right.
You just lost your entire.
Let's get at that base. Yeah. I mean, I guess even for me too, like I always like have thought it, but I've never like actually 100% did it. I mean, I kind of do it, but just creating like, your website, and then like everything else is just like an expression of it. So I mean, like the type of stuff that I put on Instagram, works on Instagram, but like it leads back to, my website, for example. Or yeah, I mean, I'm not fucking with TikTok or any of these other ones yet, but yeah, mostly Instagram and I guess Facebook. Yeah, that's basically all I use nowadays.
Yeah, TikTok. When I saw that @Sam Dever wasn't available, I said, nope, not going to do it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I said, yeah,
damn it,
dude. If I don't have my branding, I'm done. Like, no, I don't need it.
Right.
When TikTok's kind of an insult to the things you and I used to do. It's like, what we were talking about, like this creative thing. Now I look at TikTok, so I'm looking like, damn, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Just on the phone.
It's an interesting platform. It's good, but like, at the same time too, I'm just not messing with it. Maybe I'm old school now. Who knows?
We're old school social medias. I wanted to talk briefly, and I've had the privilege of working with you on several projects. One thing I've always your end results obvious. I mean, that's, of course, I love, but I've always loved, one of the main reasons I love working with you is the process of working with you. I love that beginning phase when I call you up or I text you and I said, hey, I got this idea for a logo or this design. What can we do? And then we have that first mastermind session, and like I'll tell you basically in my head, and then like all of a sudden you'll regurgitate in your own way, and then throw your ideas and like, here, but we can do this, and this, and I'm just like, oh, Carmello Vision.
Right.
We're cooking. Is that what's your creative process like these days? Like,
yeah, I would say. Yeah, it's more or less the same. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm just like a really curious dude. So I mean, like, I talk to you and I really want to just like get to know exactly who you are, and like, I guess even like the road that you're living and like the direction you're going, everything. I just want to know all of this. Just kind of boil it down to like this kind of, I don't know, symbol badge, like spiritual badge, into the universe kind of type energy into like a logo basically, or whatever. I mean, if it's a design or whatever, but yeah, I mean, I just love just asking just a bunch of questions in the beginning. I love like learning the details about just everything, what the project is. Like, for example, I'm working on this like logo for a house in Sri Lanka. Like, met this lady found my work online. Or no, my friend actually introduced me to her, and then she reached out to me. She's been living in Japan for 14 years, a Kiwi from New Zealand, and she is building a house in Sri Lanka. And she's like, yeah, well, I want like something Japanese that has like Japanese characters in it with like a Japanese pattern. And I just really wanted to just represent, this house that I have that I'm building. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is amazing,
So wait, you are designing her house? Like,
oh no, just the logo for the house.
The logo for the house.
She's designing a house, and I'm just designing the logo for the house. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, but just even the whole process behind that too. Like, she wanted just this calligraphy and like this Japanese waves pattern, and just combining that together. But doing my research on like how would you combine, these kind of Chinese characters like on this in this symbol, and then reaching out to my friends and asking, do you know anybody who knows calligraphy? I get a hit. Somebody like, gives me just this finished product already. They're like, I mean, you can have it if you want it. But yeah, I mean, just the whole history behind that. And then doing research like on Sri Lanka too. How do I combine like Sri Lankan elements into this logo, and I don't know, just polish it up and make it like really like an expression of like, where she's coming, like how it helps her with her house. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just really curious about all this shit. And I mean, even like researching the village in Sri Lanka where it is, and like trying to understand like a little bit of their history and like, oh shit, how can we just infuse that into this logo with like this Japanese perspective? I don't know.
That's
It's
deep.
fun, man. It's so fun. So
Well,
yeah,
that's yeah. I mean, that's like from someone that doesn't do design or is just looking at it from the outside. They go, "Oh, you just make a logo," and it's like, no,
right.
the logo is just
I'm
the end result of all the deep work we just did behind it.
oh, it's gonna be something you just like jot down on paper, right? Yeah, I mean, even like as I just described that too, like I'm like looking back on it, like, it probably sounds messy, but I mean that's what it is. Like it's just kind of like this beautiful mess of just like ideas and looking at certain things. Like, okay, this works, that doesn't work. Okay, how do we make this work and just make it work and represent who you are. So,
And you actually did the
man,
logo for this show, which is right here or here, the Sam logo. You did the Sam
we're
logo.
around here somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah, the watermark that's going to be on here. So yeah, it's always
that was fun too, man.
yeah, that was the last one. Yeah, so that's been
Colorful,
been a year
colorful
and a half.
zebra print.
Huh? The zebra.
Colorful zebra.
Yeah, I go, hey man,
Yeah.
have you ever seen that old gum that has the crazy zebra stripes?
Yeah, that's like such a throwback when you told me that too. Yeah, like that zebra gum, right?
Yeah, the zebra gum, the Technicolor or
What?
whatever you would call it.
Right.
Yeah, it's I guess for me too, I mean that's one thing I guess when it comes to content.
Mm-hmm.
Even I've had some epiphanies while talking to you on this podcast, so maybe it was
I'll go in,
definitely
man. Yeah.
well just I do enjoy the process of creating. I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the process of starting something from scratch and then getting to the end result. And then sometimes
Right.
it's like sometimes the end result you keep building that up, and sometimes you're kind of like, all right, what do we do next?
Right.
And that's a pro and a
Right.
con on myself. It's like, probably should have focused on one thing more as opposed to just running all over the place with other stuff. But at the same time, it's fun
Mm-hmm.
to spill that creativity a bunch of different places.
Yeah, I was gonna say like just even additionally too, it just always I feel like even more impact when you just kind of like go through like some sort of creative block. Like so, even for example, on that logo too, like I think for what 3 weeks. I mean, she gave me the brief,
Mm-hmm.
but for 3 weeks, just nothing was like coming to mind at all. Like I had things here and there, and like it just really wasn't coming out. And then I just woke up one morning. I mean, I did like some kind of like planning my day ahead type meditation activities and stuff, and then I just like sat down 2 hours, knocked out like just the chunk of the design.
So is that your process? Do you like set aside time? Like, okay, between this time and this time, I'm sitting down and working on this logo, or is it more like when the inspiration comes and you feeling it? All right, I'm diving into it.
I mean, looking back on it, I would say it's more so like that inspiration. Like I feel like I have to create a space for myself to like start getting inspired to just create it in a way. I don't know. Because I mean, of course, I can just jump into it, but I feel like my best work always comes from when I just like just take a step back and just let the ideas bubble up a bit, and then just jump into it. But I mean, in order to do that, I mean, of course, I could just go on forever and like not think about shit. So I mean, I have to like intentionally create this kind of like limitation, like this kind of space that okay, we need to like do it from the set time, but don't worry about time too much, and just let the ideas bubble up and happen.
Yeah, I relate to. There was some writer, I can't remember where I read it, but he said, and again, every artist works differently. I tend to think maybe I'm kind of in the middle, maybe like set time aside, but then there are times where you're feeling it more. But like you just,
Right.
like, or are you going to be thinking about it for 5 years?
Right.
One
Yeah.
writer says that you can force creativity. It's like you just do it. Like you just do it, and once you
You just gotta
start
do
doing
it. Yeah.
then the creativity comes. Like it may not be there right away, but just the fact you get the ball rolling, all of a sudden, oh, okay, yeah, here's some ideas, and things kind of
It's crazy
unfold.
because I'm just gonna contradict myself right now too. It's just like as I was just kind of going through this creative block, I literally did just wake up one morning. I mean, I thought, how do I plan my day ahead? But I really thought, let's just fucking do it. I mean, enough of this bullshit. Enough of this thinking bullshit. Let's just fucking sit down on like the white paper and just draw a fucking line. That's it. I don't know. And then yeah, just doing that triggered this whole, response, and then the whole thing came together. Like,
dude,
I bet there's truth to both of it, right?
There's the promo
There's
for the
truth to both of
podcast
it.
right there. That was just 20 seconds of pure genius.
I mean,
Just woke up.
it's true though. Just
Let's
woke
do
up.
it.
Just fucking do it. I mean, enough of this bullshit. I mean, yeah, we can think and like, kind of bubble up with like this kind of inspirational shit, but then at the same time too, it really comes just like down to the action and like how you mix that up to create.
Well, and see, I relate to that because there's times when you feel like you're not working on something, but you're really working on it the entire time. Whether it's been, because even on something like video editing, like I may not be editing the video, but I'm thinking about editing the video when I'm not editing the video.
Right.
So I'm not
even subconsciously, I'm assuming too, right?
Yeah, it's just kind of you start thinking about it, and then I've had moments when you go back to it, it's like boom, 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 because I just
right.
But it was working the entire time. So I totally get what you're saying with that. So when you woke up that morning, it's not like you hadn't been doing anything. You'd been thinking about it. Your subconscious has been turning on it. And then all of a sudden it's just letting you know, like, hey,
right.
Execution time.
Right. I mean, like even like on the other end of the spectrum too, it's just like, I mean, even for just more, I guess, workflow type, let's just say like a 9-to-5 type shit situation where you get like a new project in and it's like, okay, we need this, done by next week. And then sometimes I just feel like I'm just like, oh, okay, boom, let's just do like this job. But then I don't really like kind of feel like connection, to it too. So like this type of, project, even though it's some good work of mine, I don't really feel like it really expresses. And I mean, I kind of lean more towards like, what we talked about earlier. It's just like, I don't know, let's really sit down and think about this thing a bit and then just like get into it, execute.
Yeah. It's dope, man.
The whole creative process is just, interesting in general. I mean, that's what probably keeps me at it. Curse out like, fuck, why can't I get this fucking idea? Or like, why can't I do this? And then, oh shit, this looks really fucking dope. Okay, I like this. Yeah.
It comes in waves too, doesn't it? At least for me.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, man.
Like there's waves.
It's wavy.
Yeah, like there was ways where, and I feel it's important too. And there's this one acting book I read. This guy made a brilliant point. It was William Esper's book, his first one on acting, and one of them. He said at the end, and this can apply to any creative thing, I think. They got done with their year of acting school, and they're about to have the summer off. And he told them, I don't think he meant like don't think about acting at all and don't work on it at all. But he said, go out there in life, live life, have fun, go fall in love, go get your heart broken. Like, and that's one thing my injury taught me. It's like, man, like, you do as a creative and I'm guilty of this, especially during the pandemic, all of like when you can get lost in your own head sometimes, especially when you're indoors time, and you have to go back out there and go back out into life and remember like, hey, this is what inspires us. And I feel some of the best projects I've been a part of, like, for example, like a lot of people will say, now's the best time for me to write something. I will agree with that logically, but for some reason for me, sometimes when I'm the busiest is when the most creative stuff comes out. And I realized it's because I'm living the most life. I'm talking to the more people. I'm doing more things. And it's a product of doing all that. So I guess there's really no right or wrong way for any of it. I guess it's just this crazy energy. Different.
I mean, that's a great point too. I mean, even with like the pandemic and stuff, just like how it just kind of affects creativity and just being inside and just like being in your head. Like, I kind of feel like I'm just like slowly, just kind of escaping this type of bubble. Because, you start to realize, oh shit, I have been like kind of like in a bubble. Like I really have been going out and interacting and engaging like with so many different types of people. And I mean, just like seeing the need for that and just, going back out to just like pop that creative block of bubble in a sense.
And you're leading me to another thing I wanted to cover with you somewhat. You've always been a guy to me that you live life. You've told me, definitely some good stories of over in Japan and fun times.
All right.
You're a very social person. So I guess, I don't know, this could go one or two ways, I guess. I'm curious to see what the pandemic's been like for you.
Right.
Maybe anything you've learned about yourself or any insights. And then also, I don't know, maybe talk maybe a little bit about the way you look at life.
Ah, damn, that's deep.
You don't have to answer both.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, like, so I guess, yeah, pandemic wise, I mean, I think at this period, like in my life, like, I feel like my sociability is kind of just like decreased a bit. I mean, I used to be just like talking to all these different types of people, but I think, yeah, once the pandemic initially happened, like I just like stopped going out, as much as I did. And I, well, in a way too, like, I have a girlfriend, plus, I have a dog. Just kind of been like focusing like a little bit more like on that side too. But then just even realizing through that, like this kind of like balance between the way I live life, like, if I'm like working, if I'm, socializing, or if I'm just like having this, family life basically. And just realizing everything, even like all the intricacies there, just being inside a lot more. And just really asking myself, like, I guess, what is the type of life that I want to live? I mean, shit, am I like close to my family as much, being abroad? Or like, how do I just, get closer to my family? Or like, how do I just balance the amount of work that I do? Cause like, I love creating shit. I mean, I'll never stop that, but really just realizing like how does it impact like just the relationships that I have, even here. And then just even like looking towards the future and just like, thinking, okay, I guess what can I do? What can I do for like the people around me? And just really just starting to like pull the pieces back and just kind of rearrange them and, all this stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, even though it's kind of a messy answer, but
it's beautiful.
Yeah, just painting like this new picture and just, what else can we do? I don't know.
When life has seasons, right? I mean, yeah, right now seasons, yeah, you're not out and about as much right now, but you have a different lifestyle too, right? You're living with your girl, you have a dog, which I think is awesome. It's like, enjoy that. Like, that's part of life.
Right.
That's a beautiful experience. And I don't know. I think I'm learning too, like with what you're saying, is just kind of just take the seasons as they come and just realize that nothing's permanent. Everything's going to change for better or for worse in one way or the other. Sometimes, a lot of times it's not worse. It's
everything's just going to change.
It's just going to change.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to change.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely been beautiful for sure. I mean, like even just rediscovering, or even discovering some other parts of myself too, like just getting motivated by that and inspired, and even if the dog's waking up and just like licking my face, and like I just had zero sleep the night before. Still, just kind of embracing like this kind of different type of energy, like this different type of thing in my life. So
yeah.
Like just the subtle stuff of that, or yeah, I mean, just anything really. Yeah. How I'm approaching life.
Yeah.
Feeling stoic. I don't know. I've been like reading, what was it, that Marcus Aurelius, stuff like that.
Yep. Meditation.
Like all these types of books. So.
Oh, that might have to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm enjoying it overall, but it's just like, man, it's just crazy. Like, once you just really peel back the layers of life and just like how things just, flow, and then just like getting inspiration from that even, or just like letting it be and just like kind of watching it and just, yeah.
Well, and first of all, I think Marcus Aurelius Meditations is going to be the book of the episode now that you mentioned that one, because that.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. So good. I am, and maybe where we at on, we got, a little bit of time here. because, you know, we kind of tapped into a little of our Las Vegas experience. I will never forget that day where we had chicken sandwiches at the Spearmint Rhino.
Oh, that was one of the best days, man.
That was one of the best days. That's when I knew you were down. We were both from the Midwest, and like, hey, man, we should totally hang outside of this. And I'm like, hey, go to the Spearmint Rhino and have chicken sandwiches.
I've told way too many people that story. Like, yeah, you know, like one of my boys, like, you know, went out to Vegas and met him for the first time. He's like, let's go to the Spearmint Rhino and get some chicken sandwiches. This is
like
best,
2 in the afternoon.
Best thing. Yeah. 2 in the afternoon, complete brightness outside, darkness inside as soon as you close that door. Like a dungeon with just lights pointed at the stage and strippers dancing, and then just this chicken sandwich comes out on this this tray. Amazing.
And it was $5 at the time. I don't know what they run now.
Which is a fucking deal for Vegas. It's a deal.
Hell yeah.
Granted, we didn't really get any dance. We didn't do any dances or anything like that. We're just strictly there for like just the sandwiches, but much worth it. Yeah.
What's crazy is I met you literally at the end of my party phase. Like I was already out of it. I might have been, if I was in it, it was a very low trimmer, like a very low, very low. But if I would have met you a year earlier, maybe we may not both be here talking. I don't know what.
Nah, yeah, I think we'd still be like living
Vegas stuff I did, and I'm just like, it was stupid. Was it fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be here.
I'm sure if we would have met like just a year prior, like we would have had like a frat house still to this day or something like that. I don't know. It'd be some crazy shit.
You would have moved into the Rat Pack house where I was at.
Yeah. I mean, because I was a fucking like party animal and shit too, especially like living in Japan and doing fucking nightlife out here like till like what 3, 4 a.m. 6
a.m.
They
party hard out there, don't they?
Just as hard as Vegas, man. Similar type of vibe, yeah. Tons of drinks and like all this shit. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really clubbing anymore, dude.
Well, and see, that was the point. Or go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say, like, just more so, just chilling at bars and just talking to people and, I mean, listening to good music, of course, but not fucking. Just like my ears are just fucking like bleeding the next morning. Yeah, none of that shit.
I just had so many moments on a nightclub dance floor, just deer in headlights. You don't know what's what. You're just looking at the DJ and
DJ's always looking at you too. I always feel like the DJ's always looking at you. Probably does one of those points just to everybody in the crowd, just to give them that experience.
Well, and even like post party, I got, and this is when I really started getting into filming in the club and stuff. Like I loved it. Like I have to credit filming in the club as a huge part of my film education. Like, and I wasn't drinking while doing that, so it caused me to talk to people with not that liquid quote unquote courage. Yeah.
Filming in the clubs are amazing. I mean, I think yeah, we did it at one point. It was that artsy club in Vegas. I forget the name of it. The Artisan.
I think we did. Yeah, no.
I think maybe somebody had an event or something like that.
Yeah, you and I we did more than one event. We were at.
Yeah. But I mean, those are always great moments. I mean, just like even the way when you're like not drunk and just like kind of being in this club and like just watching the energy unfold, and you have this camera just capturing all this shit. Like, it's amazing.
It's magic. It is magic. And I I guess the point of going back to some of these and what we're talking about, the seasons of life, we could not recreate that today. I know I personally couldn't, because A, I don't move like I once did. B, I can't stay up like I once did. It's like that was that era of time. I appreciate it. I got so much out of it. I met incredible people. I still talk to some of those incredible people, and it's like, but that era's over. Why would I ever even go back? So I'm like, man, that was a great era. But now there's gonna be a new era coming. What's the new era? And just learning to accept that and be present with it. You know what I mean? I'm just using your girl and your dog as an example. It's like,
No, yeah, for
Phase,
sure, man.
man.
Yeah.
It's the phase. Enjoy it. Like, enjoy that shit. Like,
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, maybe you do it, or maybe somebody watching this does it. Just come up with a series called The Seasons of Life. That'd be a dope podcast.
that would be dope. Like, just talk about like an era of your life, or interview people about eras of their life. Like,
Old people, young people, just this whole amalgamation of just different fucking perspectives.
yeah, that is. I actually really like that. That's
Okay,
a really good
checking
idea.
my social to see if it's like on here right now.
Yeah.
Got to get that social media secure or real estate and shit. Yeah.
I'm sure you're the same way. How many social media brands have you gone and created Instagrams for that you never touched? I
A
know I
lot.
have
Yeah.
some.
I think I even have just like a bunch of fucking like domain names too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course, like the main ones I have, but yeah, like maybe I'll have an idea for this later. Let me just reserve it though.
Yeah. Well, dude, man, we're getting to about that point. This has been an
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
I mean, it's everything I could have ever wanted with Carmelo Vision
Yeah.
on a podcast. And
Always good conversations.
yeah, and I foresee us doing more in the future. Just a couple kind of exit questions here. When's Carmelo Vision coming back to the United States?
Shit. I mean, I'd say next year, probably early next year. Like, definitely getting that cabin feeling moment. I haven't been back in 3 years. I mean, I've just watched America unfold through social media and like family stories, for good and for the bad. But I mean, just overall, just like I just want to go back, just eat just a nasty fucking cheeseburger. I don't know, just something terrible. The food out in Japan is like so amazing, but I just want to go back and just enjoy some like really just greasy food or something.
You just hit on something now that I want to ask you about. The
Yeah,
differences between Japan and the United States is obviously, I think health is probably one of them. It's just a lot healthier lifestyle over there, isn't it? In terms of food choices.
yeah, I
And,
would say more or less. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
People have longer
Yeah, I mean,
lifespans.
fish. Well, I mean, the type of. I mean, it depends on like the type of food that you make, but I mean, overall, like, yeah, the food just feels healthier, like more vegetable. I don't know. Yeah, it just feels healthy overall. I'd say like less sugary
It's not
compared to
processed.
like being back in the States. Not processed. I mean, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, like I cook every night basically, rather than just kind of buy like this kind of quick meal that I would definitely do back in the States. But
Well, I think I've been FaceTiming with you before, and you'll be like, you'll have your headbuds in, like, hold on, man, hold on a second. You'll go in somewhere, and you can just like grab. I mean, to us, it would be. It's not cheap quality, but it's cheap in price, sushi and stuff. But it's like really high quality. Like
oh, right.
great sushi for like $5 over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, like you go to these. I will like these sushi go around. I don't know if you've seen those before. It's
I
like
think
a
I've seen
sushi and a
it.
conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, even those, like you get two like those nigiri pieces, like maybe salmon, maybe uh, tuna, something like that, and it's like what, $2 or like not even $1.50. And much cheaper. Like I've had sushi at least what 3 days out of the past week, which I mean, maybe I shouldn't have ate so much, but fuck it, it was great.
Season.
Some seasons, man. Yeah.
Seasons.
But it was good.
That's dope, man. Well, I did this on the last podcast, and maybe, or actually, I did on the last two. Um, Kind of just giving the floor to you. If there's any, I don't know, it can be anything. If it's a book you've read recently, a podcast you listened to, something that inspired you, a thought you've been having, any type of thought piece you can leave us with, like anything that's been on your mind. Can be inspirational. It can just be nothing. It could be whatever, like something that you can kind of just leave us with.
Damn.
I probably should have prepped that before, but
yeah. Shit. No, I mean, honestly, it's just like just resulting from this conversation, just the seasons of life. I mean, just enjoy them.
Yeah.
I mean, as simple as that. I mean, it's so easy just to get caught up in things and think about things and like think that you have to do so many things, but just really just taking a step back and just embracing, those seasons and just like how things unfold and just appreciating it.
I love it, man. And if people want to follow you or see your work or get in contact with you, what is the best way to do that?
CarmeloVision.com. Carmelo Vision on all social media except for TikTok. It says CARMELLO Vision. Yep.
.com. Get your world Carmelo visioned.
Yeah. Get your world Carmelo visioned. Yes.
Yeah, there's something of that nature. Well, dude, it has been so great talking with you. Before we end here, I want to just do a quick screen grab picture, smile for the camera if you can, or whatever. You don't have to smile. This is for the gram. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you want to do one? It froze on me. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Nice.
All right, my friend. Well, hey, dude. So good to see you. So good to talk to you. We'll be talking again, hopefully sooner than later. But until then, my friend, you're one person I talk about. Not that they know you directly, but you're one of those people to me where you and I can go 2-3 years, even if we don't say a word to each other through anything.
Right.
But the second we see each other, it's like, I saw you 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it feels like, we never left, yeah.
And that to me is the beautiful part about like relationships in life, is having these connections and relationships with people. Like, I know you're in a season, I'm in my season, and sometimes our seasons, we collab.
Right.
I got a new season to go to. You got a new season to go to, but I'll see you again. I'll see you again.
It's coming, man. Greek trip. Yeah, we forgot to talk about 40. That, but next time.
By 40.
By 40.
We both said by our 40th birthday, because I'm 34 and a half now. Crazy to say. So I'll be 35 in March. Damn, that's crazy to say. But 40, man. Hopefully the world is more stable.
We're doing it by 40. Yeah. I mean, this is a really quick aside too, but like I think I am leaning towards going to, I don't know, Europe or something like that, just for a couple months. Just to post up and just, I don't know, see some shit. So like I'm thinking Greece, Italy, and Turkey maybe. Maybe like the Holy Trinity. It'd be so dope.
Next thing you know, Carmelo Vision moves to Europe.
All right, yeah. Seasons. Yeah, European seasons.
Seasons, man. Well, brother.
Like, I love Japan, but yeah, I could see Europe. Yeah.
It will happen. And you'll be back in LA. You'll be back. I'll see you here.
Oh, for sure, man. We got
some more LA stuff to do.
Oh, yeah. It's more beach sessions.
Maybe we'll swing through to Vegas afterwards.
Oh, for sure, man.
All right, brother. Well, you take care of yourself over there. Enjoy time with your woman. Enjoy time with your dog. Many blessings to you. Wishing you safety and peace. And keep the creativity going.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.
Take it easy.
See you later.